Okay, so I just wanted to share how I'm using AI and automation together to make things easier for me, just in day-to-day working and operations and so on. So I'm not a great man for um, project management tools. I tend to just forget they're there. So I like to keep things simple and progressive and consistent as much as I can. And I have tools that I've subscribed to, very few of them, but I use them to the best of my ability. One of them is I go on my phone and I find, you see here at the bottom, CleftNotes, and I'll basically open that up. I can do it in the car on the way to work, or I can do it on my bike, whatever. And I just start talking to Cleft about what I want to do. So it's recording now. And I basically say, on the way to work, I might go, okay, I've got a client called John who needs me to put together a proposal based on 3 or 4 conversations we've had. And they've been quite in depth conversations where we've kind of sketched out what his goals are and where the kind of obstacles in his business are for growth. We've looked at where AI might be useful, but not in detail, not in depth. And I've been feeling around for what are the jobs to be done, what are the things that most that are hindering progress. So I need to come back to John and say what I think are, say, 3 possible routes for making progress for him. What would be most helpful, and to begin the process of proposing a solution for achieving the goals that we've talked about. So very convoluted, and you can see that, like, as I talk about it, it's really stream of consciousness. And again, Cleft is just taking it all in. The second thing I need to do is make sure that I'm prepared for inbound next week. I'm going to San Francisco, flying out on Tuesday. So I need to make sure that I update my flight details for my Aer Lingus flight. What else do I need to do? I need to get a nice pair of runners so I can protect my feet walking around the big Moscow center. Um, and I'd like to make sure I book dinner for myself and a friend for the Wednesday night that I'm there. And maybe set up a couple of other meetings while I'm there too, with people that I really want to meet, and book my sessions on the Inbound app. So let's leave it at that. So that's kind of what I would do on the way to work. What I also might do is say, okay, I've got a great idea for a blog article where I'm going to share how I use automation and AI processing to categorize the stuff that I'm saying right now. So I'm going to write a blog article about this process of a systemized use of AI processing and automation to separate out sales, ideas, content, and maybe marketing. But most importantly, making sure I capture all the tasks that come up as I do this stream of consciousness stuff on the way to work. So I'm going to write a blog article about that. Again, Cleft is taking that in. So now I'm going to hit stop on Cleft, and Cleft does this transcription thing. So it's like CleftNotes just has listened to everything that I've just talked about, and it's transcribing. It's usually pretty quick as it transcribes, and then it sorts through the prompt that I've got in there. So you can see it's been good at kind of sorting that. So now what I'll do is I'll go into my actual desktop, and you'll see here, it's probably there already. Yeah. So there is my note, and you can see it's quite well organized already. Client proposal for John, preparation for a San Francisco trip, blog article idea, all kind of organized. Now that's good enough, but what I've found in the past is that actually kind of sits there in CleftNotes, and I have to go back and read through it. But what I've set up in the background is a couple of webhooks that will pull this note through Zapier into another kind of area, which is my deposit notes area. So you can see here in Google Sheets, the summary has been pulled into Google Sheets. This makes this information available for my automation system. I use Active Pieces because I got a nice deal on Active Pieces early on. And it's kind of a competitor for Zapier, but it allows me to run a lot of automation. But the beauty of this is the Claude module. So you can add a Claude module, which is using AI in the process, which isn't quite an agent, but it allows you to use a prompt in the middle of it all. And I've written a prompt that's quite extensive. Now, this is where the time is spent trying to figure out the prompt engineering to get what I want from the system. And so what I've written is a big long prompt, and this is where the time is spent pulling in the information from my Google Sheet and then extracting the items according to whether they're sales, tasks, content, or ideas. It then processes that information intelligently, might even add some emojis as it goes. And then what it does is it adds it to my project management system or my tracker, which is where I use Notion. You might also use another system like Asana or whatever. And what happens is each of these things is actually added to my task tracker as individual items so that I can decide to do them. They're all added to my ideas or back burner flow. You can see here, this one is very important. It's marked it as a priority medium, update my Aer Lingus flight details. I would upgrade that to high, and it's obviously a task that I need to pay attention to. But now all my tasks have been recorded in this system. I can also look them obviously as a table, but that's the task view. And then more importantly, I guess, is the sales activity log, which is always important as well. And you can see here the proposal for John has already been put into my sales activity log as a task. And what I would do here is I would say, okay, this needs to be addressed, and it's asking me to go ahead and do that. So it's all kind of very easy to put together. It gets added to the system really quickly. And the simplicity is a result of the complexity in the back end with the prompt engineer. So thought I'd share it with you. Any questions, let me know.